we're live on YouTube. Oh my God.
That took no time.
Are we live on Facebook? Oh, we're still going live on Facebook, but we're live on YouTube.
Are we backwards, by the way? Look at her sign.
We're totally backwards.
We're totally backwards.
Hello and welcome to the Velveteen Lounge. We forgot our applause noisemakers. Oh, you know what?
Get it,
We're forward on Facebook, but we're flipped on YouTube. Oh well.
Hello, Eric.
Hi.
I want my noisemaker.
Hold on.
Wow.
I just my camera. Hold on.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you.
Oh,
I gotta mute that. Okay, mute that. Oh, okay. Late applause is better than no applause. Here we are. I found it. Okay, good.
That's all the noisemakers.
Okay. Oh my God, turn off the closed captioning. So that's stupid.
Oh, that's
all right. Well, it's not stupid if you need it, but
we don't. Put it this way. For our purposes, I don't need it. I can hear myself. If you are impaired, that's what it's there for.
That's what it's there for.
You see? So good. So please use.
Oh, you know what? It did suddenly get really hot in here.
Wow.
Okay, now how do I close this?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Hi. Oh, okay. Eric says we don't look mirrored to him. Okay, good.
Oh, you don't?
Awesome. I'm glad.
You're on this platform.
Okay, because it looks mirrored to us.
Yeah, I guess that's just the way that the cam goes.
That's just life.
Maybe, do you think that the platform recognizes this and flips us automatically? It's weird.
It flips us. Hi, Julie. Happy Saturday. I'm glad you could make it.
What, getting the bird from YouTube? No, that would never happen.
I am going to turn the fan toward us.
Okay.
The fan was making me sneeze.
Yeah.
I guess our house is a little dusty, but
that was me.
We need the air.
Last night after a week in the studio and perilously low.
Hi, Alan and Elizabeth.
Long hours and perilously low amounts of sleep. Suddenly I'm sneezing.
It's gaslighting. It is gaslighting us.
And it was just like all that dust that we breathed breaking down the set. I'm sure I was just like, finally I couldn't take it anymore. And I was like, all right, this is actually a symptom of the thing. I'm not going to say it on air, but I calmed down and I finally got a halfway decent night's sleep by comparison. I feel good right now.
I slept great last night.
Yeah, so great.
Hey, Mom.
Hey there.
Oh, thanks, hello. Alan.
Yeah. Audio's great. Awesome.
Wants to know if. Oh, hi, Amy. Good to see you.
Very good too.
Yay.
We're very close to both of our machines, and of course, our primary machine, which is powering the Facebook broadcast, has excellent microphone support. And our auxiliary machine actually is quite good. This is one of those Logitech cameras.
Maybe we should do all of our live videos sitting right here. This seems to be working.
Maybe that's it, right? I don't know. See?
All right. My arms are too short to
go
back and forth between
things.
Platforms.
We're getting different color from each platform, which is really hilarious.
Well, it's two different cameras.
Two different cameras. That's right. And we can adjust
both of them. I'm
glad
to be sitting here.
I'm glad to be sitting here.
With a cup of coffee. Soon to be a mimosa.
Yeah. But, you're going to transform your coffee into a mimosa? Hey, that's talent.
Well, yes. In a manner of speaking.
There are other people in history who did similar things, but whoa. That's kind of great. Actually, you need both in the morning, so don't transform this. Finish this, or don't finish this, and just also pour yourself a mimosa. Yeah, right? I'm just saying. It's brunch. It's brunch hour on a Saturday, certainly. I think if you are at that point in your day and you would also like to crack a bottle of bubbles and join us.
I'm also going to have,
by all means, shall we?
A bowl of cereal.
Cereal, milk and cereal.
From our fictional store, the Cash Pit.
This is the Cash Pit cereal, which, as you can see from the fine print,
Cash Pit berry cereal.
It's the same cereal as name brand, but for less cash.
I'll be having a bowl of that while we chat. Because we have. Oh, hi, Errol. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We have a lot of food props left. Yeah. A lot of cereal. A lot of cheese crackers. A lot of cheese balls. So we're going to be eating junk. For months.
When you are a not huge film producer, that I'm not trying to say a word.
Hi, Lisa.
I like to avoid the term small film producer because I don't want to downgrade what we do here, which is mighty. I'll toot my own horn for 2 seconds. But when you are a not gargantuan film producer and you don't have a budget that's this big and you're trying to find...
You're not Steven Spielberg. Hi, Mike.
And you're trying to find bulky stuff to put in a shopping cart that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Like, what's the bulkiest stuff you got out there? That's actually pretty cheap. How about
cheese balls?
A really huge thing of cheese balls,
buckets of balls,
and the huge box of cereal. We had to crack this is literally a name brand cereal, and we cracked it out of the box. The interior bag has no logo, so you slap a label on it, bang! Suddenly you've got a name brand cereal for your fictitious store. This was a little work of genius from this one over here. Ping! We tried a different method.
The props master.
We tried a different method that totally failed, and it was poor materials. That's all I can say. Came up with a better idea.
It all worked out in the end.
Better idea. Much good.
So people have been asking us when you're going to see the film. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute before you see this film, because we're suddenly realizing what exactly goes into post-production. It's not as simple as editing a YouTube video.
No.
I'll just put it that way. It's going to take a little bit of time.
I will say this. I knew that going in, but I didn't realize the extent to which our current setup will be thoroughly inadequate.
Yep.
Like, our machine would totally choke on the high
definition video. We need a new computer.
Yeah.
A new editing suite.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
And yeah, that's just for starters.
And what else would be
the film that we shot all exists on a big hard drive.
Yeah. Actually,
go show them the hard drive.
I'll
grab the hard drive.
I'll show you.
This is the thing that if our house catches on fire, like, this is the thing we will be taking, like, grabbing to leave the house.
Leave my wallet. Leave the cash. Grab that. I can replace the cash. I can't replace
the producer in me. Yeah, it is the producer.
Yes, it is the producer in you.
Yeah. Oh, Mike,
Thanks,
thank
you.
Mike. Thank you. Yeah, we will be taking our time because we have to buy a more robust computer. All because of rendering the time. Yeah, because our film was shot in 6K, which is like what isn't that what they shoot, like, big Hollywood films in? Like, our director of photography has this killer camera.
He has what's called a red camera. Look that up, and look up the price, and you're like, boing! Wow, this is hardcore.
But it's shot in 6K, which is like, our computer wouldn't even hold like, not only could we not edit on this computer, like, I don't even think we could upload all the footage into our computer.
Don't have sufficient hard drive space.
Hi, Carradine. Good to see you.
And I would have thought that you would be editing this thing, and you can go from the outboard hard drive, no problem. But I'm not sure that that's all that practical.
Oh, Julie's asking if I have a favorite prop that I made for the cash pit.
You probably do.
There's so
many.
I do.
They're a lot of fun.
I put it up. Well, I didn't make this one. I do. Oh my gosh, the dog.
The dog.
He's up in the attic.
He's up in the attic.
I put all the stuff up in the attic, but yeah, there's a stuffed dog.
There's a stuffed dog that happens to be a bludgeoning weapon.
And, I had to make it. It's like this adorable little stuffed animal, and I had to make him look angry.
So plush. And you really did. It's a little cartoony, and that's entirely appropriate for all this.
It's so goofy.
But I tell you, when we talk about production, and when we talk about what do you get as results, all I got to do is.
How do you feel about your eyesight? Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the house in daylight. I know.
It's interesting, different for different perspectives.
Yep.
I'm going to paraphrase a classic English television show here, which is How Are You Being Served? One of their Christmas episodes. I would say that a crew of 6 and a cast of 5 working tirelessly over the course of a week, and a producers working like endless hours for the better part of 6 months, all for this.
That's the hard. You're facing the wrong way.
Wrong way. Oh, this.
that's our film.
This is it. This is a little Western Digital Passport hard drive, 2 teras. It's like, that's it. It doesn't look like much. I'm like, I could crack it out for you. It still doesn't look.
Cost $100 of my favorite dollars.
It's what it costs. And a 2 terabyte hard drive probably used to cost $1,000. So these days, kind of cheap. I'm actually going to walk away and place this away from all of this fluid because, But the simple fact
you don't see. Yeah, well, we're not going to be able to. Carradine loved our evening service. We're not going to be able to submit it to festivals in 6K. Like the festivals can't even handle that.
I think some festivals can, and some festivals
like maybe Sundance,
and
but we're not submitting this to Sundance.
I was of the understanding that some are okay with it, and some really don't. And I think, you downscale. we shoot video here in high definition, right? That's pretty much what you're seeing when you get broadcast and all that. So this whole business about like, huge resolution. I'm like, does your television set even support that? I think this thing will do like 2K.
Yeah,
our
TV doesn't do 6K.
So we're scaling down anyway, downscaling.
Yeah.
But there's a simple fact with these things. Like with print media, any of you work with that? If you ever try to grab an image off the internet at like 78 dpi, it's going to look terrible when you work with it. But if it were 600 dpi, you could work with that, right? Start with higher resolution. You can always downscale.
That's the thing. And we can crop and stuff like that. I know there's some shots we're going to need to crop. And
well, and with that resolution, you're not going to lose a damn
thing.
Exactly. Bingo, bingo.
Yep.
So one of these days, I will have a machine that I will plug this into, and it will be able to extract some things and throw some teasers at you. It's a process.
Now, put it somewhere where nothing will get spilled on, please.
Going away.
Yeah. Put it in the safe. I don't know. Yes, we're going to submit it to festivals. And you do not need to have it in 6K or even 4K.
Or 4K.
For festivals. So, yeah.
I'm trying to run the comparison there because
yes, any festivals that we can get into, we'll submit it. But we're not even bothering. We're not going to submit to the Oscar qualifying film festivals because they're not going to take us. No. And it's expensive to submit to film festivals.
It all costs.
So we're going to be realistic.
You know that these Oscar contender thingies are going to be more bucks. And it's like, why would I spend that money knowing that like you're not paying attention to me? But there's plenty of festivals that really do shorter form content that are not full of all these high powered people. And that they just need content for their festival. And they're considered pretty good. Yeah. And I think there are a lot of smaller film festivals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
You finish this process, you start talking about post-production, then you also start talking post when you have a product, you have to farm it out. Now you have to figure out the festival circuit. Isn't that fun? We just want to make a little movie.
But the big part's done. The film is in that hard drive.
Really, seriously, like pain point number 1 is done.
Yes.
You've got to get the footage, which means you got to wrangle several people. And you have to get them all tested, and they all have to test negative. And then you have to go in there, and you have to actually be following safety protocols for a week.
That would be amazing if you could put us in touch. Yeah, with your friend. That would be great.
And Pittsburgh. Oh, well, Pittsburgh is a great area for stuff.
I'd go to Pittsburgh.
I would go there in a minute. Certainly drivable for us.
Yeah.
We made a routine of going through Pittsburgh when we were headed to Ohio. And that's a real diversion.
Oh, my gosh.
For us. And I thought, well, it's worth it.
Oh, Karen, that's so funny. Karen had a high school friend who had a dad who was a film director, and he had to keep his film in big fridges in his basement. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thankfully, we don't have to do that.
Well, film stock actually is very heat sensitive. I think we have some stuff in the attic there.
Oh yeah, film festival. Yeah, I'll go anywhere, at least in the. Yeah, if you know what, if a festival wants to screen my film, I'm there for it.
I'm glad.
I'm there for it. I have hotel points.
There's film festivals around the world.
Oh, hi, Amy. Good to see you. We've only been on like 10 minutes.
I mean, what the Kiev Film Festival? Why wouldn't I submit to that? That sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's more
probably not running it right now.
More expensive to get to some places than others.
They're probably not running that festival right now, but then again, they probably are. Always enduring. But I saw one that was like a Manchester film, and we're not talking New Hampshire. We're talking, England. So,
yeah, but I'm not. At least it's not a nitrate film stock.
Oh, geez, it was Mike L. For God's sake.
Yeah,
I haven't used that since about 1952, and boy, is that a good thing. We understand there were some notorious fires back in the day. I was going to say, isn't it one that catch on fire? It was, and over time it deteriorates and basically spontaneously combusts. So you're sitting in an archive. This stuff goes up. It's sitting with a bunch of other stuff. It's going to take out the whole thing. There were some notorious examples of huge libraries that just went to toast because of nitrate film stock. Industry used that way past the point where they should have stopped using that maybe in the 20s. And,
also the arc light projectors.
Arc light.
Yep.
And a combination of arc light plus nitrate film back in the 1890s led to some notorious fires. Yeah, we're talking danger, baby. Film production is hazardous.
Kieran's friend, Art Deco Theater, was using their arc light until the 80s.
Well, it was cheap to operate, I hear. I've also heard about people who had to strike the arc light projector. It's a good way to ruin your eyesight because you have to kind of stare at the thing and then strike the arc, and then you're watching this blinding light for a second. Not so cool.
They didn't have goggles or something you could use.
Welding goggles, boom,
Seriously.
People didn't believe in safety equipment in those days. I had a hilarious story from my friend, guy I worked with, actually, who was a projectionist.
Oh, Steve.
Steve, yeah. Yeah, Steve Gutenberg, actually. He runs a channel up on the web, too.
Oh, he has a YouTube channel.
He does, as a matter of fact. He's the audio... What does he call himself?
I don't know.
I've actually subscribed, and I haven't watched it in a little while, but I think he's basically got daily content.
Oh, geez. $70,000 to replace their motherboard? Yikes.
Digital projector is hardcore, and it is just all tech. And that's one of those things like on a computer where if you toast a chip, you're
hi, Jeff. Jeff says Sonoma Valley Film Festival. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm taking names. I'm taking names.
I'm taking notes here.
Yeah.
And we actually, this is preserved afterwards. I can just scroll the comments and say, taking it down again.
Oh, I know. Yes.
Sonoma Valley.
Preserved for
posterity. Would I travel there?
I'd go to Sonoma.
Yeah, I think I'd go there.
Twist my arm.
Creek. We're seriously talking wine country too. A little like, vino and films. I'm in. Works for me. Speaking of vino.
Is it time for mimosa?
I have a bottle of bubbly vino right here. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you for the little lead in there, Jeff. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just talking about had to replace the motherboard. It's like on your computer. One of our old laptops there last year stops charging up, and I finally took it into the laptop check locally and asked the guy, and he's like, well, it's either this little connector or some motherboard, and it was the motherboard. So basically had to find a junker machine which had a good board and swap it out, and some hundreds of dollars later it's rocking. And you know what, it's good for a long time.
I was about to say, I'm glad you didn't buy a new computer then, because now we need a way more robust
now you need a new computer.
So
this is the thing, I'm glad to keep that going because it's a daily driver and it's internet and it's documents, and it'll do that forever. I will take just a little of that.
I didn't freshly squeeze the OJ.
No.
I admit it.
Yeah, that was my grandmother. Sounds great. Thank you. You're doing OJ. I'm doing OJ and Palm.
Okay. All right.
Happen to have some good organic from probably just the supermarket, I guess. It's a good brand.
I'm just going to have a plain old, I was about to say I'm going to have a plain old mimosa, but I'm going to add some ginger bitters to it.
There we go. It's kind of a murky Madras color.
Good to see you.
There we go. Hey, Clinton.
Hey.
Mimosas are tasty. I'm working the mimosa with the pomegranate because I think that'll be a good variation.
I think we've earned a little day drinking this week.
You don't say. Well, it's past noon. We can consider that, right?
Oh, geez.
Errol's
talking about, watched a guy in a refinery in Taiwan welding without eye protection. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Things are different. Yeah. Minneapolis, St. Paul Film Festival. Okay. Yeah, you have to apply way ahead of time because a woman in our film was saying the Hudson Valley Film Festival is at the end of August. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, next year because the deadline was months ago for that.
Yeah, would have been February for that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe a little later, but there's always these early bird specials too, where you might save $1 to apply.
Yeah, the earlier you apply, the more money you can get off.
And the more likely you are to get consideration too. And once it's locked down, you're locked out. So there you go.
I saw a film festival. The name just cracked me up. I don't know how good or not good of a festival it is, but it was for comedies, obviously, but it was called the Poor Life Choices Film Festival. I like that name.
We had a recommendation on the Ann Arbor Film Festival. I thought, that's a cool town.
Yeah.
So, and I think if it's not this massive,
one of the actresses in our film.
Thing. Yeah, one of the actresses. Yep. I think that was her alma mater town.
Yeah.
So that was a good recommendation. And if we were talking you should apply to South by, probably not right now.
Yeah, South by is
a little less high power.
South by is like Sundance.
Yeah. There's nothing like the present.
Hey, don't point that at me.
Thanks. I'm not firing it. Don't shoot that thing at me.
Poor Life Choices Film Festival.
I think we need to apply to that. Unless it just seems out of the question.
We'll know the. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I think our film would fall into their purview pretty darn well.
Cheers. Ein Prosit, der Gemütlichkeit.
Yummy.
It's very good with the palm.
Yummy.
It's not sweet. It's not grenadine. It's just pomegranate. It's very nice. There is a stopper behind over there.
Yep.
That's a very poor way to put it. Behind there.
Oh, Eric, thanks. That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Hello.
I love it when people talk to their friends on our behalf.
Hey, this is what this whole group is all about. Some information and frequently.
Cereal.
I would like some cereal.
Some Cash Pit berry cereal.
Don't even try that. Well, I got some for you.
I'm going to see if it works. Let's see if it opens. It's coming. Got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Well, all right then.
Oh, wow.
Is this fruity?
Berries.
It is Cash Pit berry cereal.
Berry. All right, here. Pour yourself some cereal.
This is wow, yeah, that's pretty aggressive.
No actual berries were used in the making of this cereal.
Anybody else listen to the kid show on WFMU in the morning? We listened to that this morning. He has this thing where he pours a bowl of cereal. You have to guess what it is.
Harold says, Poor Life Choices. Made a few of those. Lisa wasn't one of those. Aw.
Oh, yeah.
Your best choice.
Karen
says, if you go on a festival tour, maybe you can coincide fan meetups. Yes. Hey. Yes. That would be amazing.
Bring audiences to your
film. Red Dye number 5. Oh, jeez.
You remember that too.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember Red Dye number 5. And then when I looked it up, it was like, well, the one that was problematic was number 2. I was like, but I thought it was number 5.
It was all about number 5.
Number 5 it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, then later on, the scientists did a different test with the lab rats, and like, well, we overstated the hazards. Well, geez, guys.
Now everyone remembers that.
Mm-hmm. So you take the red off the market. It was like the blue M&Ms. Oh,
cereal.
Don't mind if I do.
Milk.
So we're trying. This was actually not on set, but in Kitsch-en, on stage, on the facility rather.
Kitchenette.
We had somebody requested some vegan milk, and we went with the oat. So there we go.
All the stuff in the Skittles. Oh, jeez.
Oh man. Skittles ultimately have some very vivid flavors, and I think they say there's natural flavor.
Having oat milk.
I'm gonna try this out. I tried some before. It's quite good. Yeah.
A lot of it's gone, so clearly it was popular.
An easily third of that was gone at the end of production.
Don't eat too much or you'll get berry.
Buddy.
All right, I gotta let mine soak. I gotta wait for it to get a little bit soggy.
These are some kind of O's. I think they're the cherry type of O.
They're Cheerios.
Very, very Cheerios. They're actually not as sweet as I thought. That's one recommendation.
I was getting, Oh! Karen says your dress reminds me of Skittles.
There we go. Good.
I'm reading Eric's
dig it. I'm getting that.
Saturday Night Light Brigade.
If you're interested in this type of material, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11, WFMU FM, that's up on the WFMU.com. You should find that just as a website. .org? Okay, .org. I'm sorry. Geez, I type this all the time. Well, it autofills. And they are based in New Jersey, and they've been there for, 60 years plus. Now an independent station. They used to be associated with a college. And they have all sorts of great shows. And we actually have a local repeater, which we can pick up out from Mount Hope locally. And sometimes the reception is not that great, but I still pull it off of FM, baby. And that morning show is the most versatile show on the air anywhere. This guy will literally play anything that fits his theme. I have heard all sorts of like genuine kids stuff, Rafi and all that, but I've heard Motorhead. If it fits the theme.
He's played Glendora twice.
He's played Glendora on the air twice. Dig that. So I have a special place in the heart for Roger. It's a really, really great show. And he says all sorts of fans are just sending him great content. It's really grown from almost nothing in a few years.
It's funny you should ask that, Karen. Karen says, could you diffuse cereal into vodka or would the cereal just dissolve and be mushy? That would happen, but we have soaked some things in vodka, like lemon heads, Mike and Ike, stuff like that.
With the lemon heads, were actually pretty good because it is like lemon oil in there, and it did turn pretty yellow. And as I recall, the flavor, as was described by one of our party guests, as lemon head cello. It was not bad.
Reading Errol's comment about the oats and the allergies. Yeah. Yeah. I think he would play anything that fit his theme that wasn't like, I guess they do have certain standards of decent. Well, it's also a kid's show. So, oh, Mike says WFMU stands for FM Uppsala College. All right.
Uppsala College. Exactly. There you go. Speed O'Jones, currently in Uppsala, Sweden. That's right. I heard he was in Sweden. Because that bleep gets around. That guy hustles. He is playing all the time. One of the classic, the Blues, Long Island Blues Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't we attend that somewhere around 10 years ago? Induction ceremony. He's a blues harp player.
Should have his music on sometime.
Right, yeah. I was actually on the air when it was still associated with Uppsala. And then subsequently Uppsala went defunct. But the station managed to buy out their license and still operates. And then subsequently bought a repeater in this area. And then somebody gifted them a transmitter tower. So they got a
New
gift
York
of a
City
transmitter.
Blues Hall of Fame.
New York City Blues Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I was going to say, I think Long Island Blues Hall of Fame sounds kind of
small.
Lame, but
it depends.
New York City sounds better.
Now you're talking. Thank you.
Hot tamales. Oh, that would be good. That would be great.
Didn't we do hot tamales too?
Did we?
And took them off, and they were soaked off the flavor on those things, and then they actually had that was pretty intense because you've got a heavy cinnamon hit off of those things. I think we also did Mike and Ike, and that had a pretty subtle fruity flavor to it.
Oh, we did Good and Plenty.
Deteriorated. We did Good and Plenty. I don't recall that.
Since I don't like licorice, I didn't have it, but we did do it. Lisa wants to know how long the shooting took. Oh, it was 2 days. Well, it took basically.
Give her the full report, honey.
The shooting was 2 days. It was basically a day and a half to build the set. And then. So
you're up to 3.5 days, and you have to bust down the set. So then there's your fourth day.
The director of photography and his assistant came in and set up all the lighting, which took about half a day.
Yeah.
And that was all the day before. So then shoot for 2 days, and then yesterday we just went back and packed it all in a U-Haul and took it away.
And away it went.
Yep.
It's an intense week, I got to tell you.
Oh, Karen, thank you. Karen says your house is the best set.
Much appreciated. Now, naturally, we've been in production how long? Well, basically 6 months. In that period, and this intense week was preceded by an intense week of building because we had large set pieces, and we don't have any place
last weekend we were out back building.
We don't have any place to store these.
Counter.
And we're in the Northeast, so it's not like it could sit outside for months at a time, and it's not like I could just put it on a tarp and expect it to be okay. So I had to build the countertop. Countertop was built to scale. It's a full size counter. Yeah. It's like 4 feet by 6 and about 3 feet high. So it was just at the exact level that somebody would need to be typing on a keyboard at the register. We had a card reader. We had the laser reader, the pointer, tag reader, barcode readers. I
bought those on Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, isn't that great? Great price.
And the scanner, like the price scanner actually works. It's so funny.
It did actually scan, and it would go beep. It was funny.
Oh, Errol says, sounds like training I give on occasion. 8 hours of prep for 1 hour of presentation.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Eric says, I like hearing the story of how Art Garfunkel as a kid would shake boxes of Good and Plenty to see which box he felt sounded more full.
Now, there's a kid from Brooklyn trying to get his value out of all of this. Yeah.
Oh, Karen. I helped some friends make a film in a park, and we didn't have permission. So it was run in the morning, shoot, and gun with all these people in costumes. Yeah. Run and gun, they call that. Run and gun filmmaking.
Run and gun. Well, here's the kicker. Was it a public space? In New York City, anyway, if it's a public space and you do not try to attempt exclusive use of that space, nor are you using a tripod, you can shoot. It's public space.
Oh my gosh, Amy, I wish we could go.
Oh, my God.
It's redeeming qualities. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tonight, New Hampshire, the Word Bond.
Oh, I know. I wish we could
Village
go.
Social in Brookline.
My phone is ringing.
Yes, it's ringing unknown, so you know that's going to go to hell.
Let me get rid of that person.
Excuse me, you're interrupting my broadcast. There we go.
It said unknown, not potential spam, but...
Well, it might mean something legit, but I doubt it. I'm just saying. You know how it is. Yeah, we've had that before.
Oh,
yeah. Kind of completely caves the broadcast.
Oh, Karen, that was nice that you didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Getting the names of the, because I would have been like, oh, we can't show that.
You know, these days I would be concerned about that sort of thing. Although, if you are using a contemporary editing suite along the lines of Premiere, Avid, you're probably not using, but because that's a big industry thing. But who knows? And I think there's a free version available actually. And then there's something called DaVinci from Blackmagic. Do you think I was investigating all this at 5 a.m. when I couldn't sleep? Yep. And there's a few others out there. All these things have functions where you can selectively.
Doug, you can absolutely use it.
Please.
Scanner. Please use it. I would love for it to get more use.
You know, if you've got can you print barcodes?
You got barcodes? It is, yes.
You want to be geeky and print barcodes and put them on stuff? This scanner will operate.
Oh, it was Super 8 in the 80s.
Hold on. Yeah. This scanner will operate. It does shoot the laser, and it doesn't need a driver. So it says. I'll get you the name of the thing. You can look it up and check the specs. But it's working as far as I know, and it was beeping when I plugged it in. I just didn't have any software that would take the reading and do anything with it. We faked it. Yeah, that's Hollywood. But hey, sure, awesome. We have a card reader too. If
you can use that too.
If you can get that to work, gold. Got stuff, why not?
Yeah, we had a card reader that wasn't hooked up to anything because no one had to actually use a credit card. It just had to be on the checkout counter.
I shot a certain amount of Super 8 in the 80s in college. Now you can date me, but that is my age. And I remember, it was really fun to just put like actual film stock into a camera and just start firing away.
Barcodes are just another font.
Yes,
print QR codes. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. QRs.
Oh, hi, Laura. Good to see you.
So good to see you. Been a while, but yes. Yep.
Have a great day. All right. We'll see you later, Laura. Have
Much
a great
appreciated.
day.
Yeah. Thanks for checking in. So yeah, I've got within this house, I have a couple of short epics that I shot back in the period, and
on Super 8.
On Super 8, Super 8 sound back when you could get that. You can still buy cartridges of Super 8 film from Kodak, and
still,
they're still making like I think three or four kinds of stock.
I know, like until recently you could, but really still. Are you sure?
Don't look for the Kodachrome. That's long gone. That was an expensive process and involved some seriously problematic chemicals, so they discontinued it. K25 gone. There is the replacement, which I think is the Ektachrome 40. I think there's a lower light version of that, and then there are two kinds of black and white film that they still sell, as far as I know. And then there used to be a company called, I think, Super 8 Sound that had blank cartridges, and they would literally take any available Kodak film stock, 35 millimeter, slice it, perf it, and put it into cartridges, and you would have that film stock on Super 8. I want to use 7225. There you go. It used to be like something like $35 the cartridge with processing included. kind of a lot for a Super 8 cartridge. And I bet if they're still around, that price has increased.
Is there anyone who will still, that you can send it to?
To process.
Yeah, to process.
Yes, absolutely. Those companies, when they say includes processing, you just return the cartridge to them. They take care of it and done.
But I'm just thinking now. Hi, Devin.
Yeah, hey, Devin. The problem with processing back in the day.
Doing great, Devin. How are you?
Was not that you couldn't have a place that would do it. It was that there were suddenly fewer places that would do the standard Kodachrome film, which was K25.
I love there's this conversation going on YouTube about these people who call you like you've been pre-qualified for a loan. For us, it's what was the one we got recently? The home warranty.
Home warranty, yes, of course.
Yeah. And they really try to scare you. It's like your home may be unprotected. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a home warranty from some rando calling me. You're like, no.
My home might be unprotected.
Who does that? Who does that?
My home is protected. It's called insurance. Hello. Got something there against fantastic disaster, folks. Not silly. There are absolute.
Oh yeah, there are definitely filters.
Yeah, I was about to say there are absolute filters. We've been using Final Cut, which most pros
Hi,
are
Satellite.
well off of by
Good
now.
to see you.
But yeah, there's certainly filters, and there's a couple that are pretty good, and you could actually alter the look of it yourself with the manual controls and get a really nice look. And the third-party products out there, I mentioned Blackmagic. I think they sell some. We have a group of filters that are light filters, and I forget what the company is. Who makes the package that we have that's all light filters? You found and installed.
FX Factory.
FX Factory. There's a lot, and we just have one package from them. You check out the third-party suppliers with whatever your platform is. There's a ton of stuff that's prepared, and a lot of them are very adjustable. So you'll say, well, this almost looks right. You go in and goose the controls and suddenly nailing it shut.
Oh, car warranty offers. We get those too.
Jeez, that's all we ever get. Why is that the current scam up on the phones?
They're very concerned.
It's like it just gets this barrage of calls about like your warranty is expired on your car. I'm like, yeah, of course it is. But why are you calling? Who is this?
And lately, I don't know who sold out my phone number, but I started getting some of those spurious texts that you might know.
I'm thinking to myself, it went around when that started. Yes. But what are you thinking?
Okay. I started getting texts that are like, your PayPal account is about to be shut down. Click here and I'm like,
quick.
Do I look stupid?
Yeah. What do I help?
You're like, no, I'm not. Go ahead. Shut down my PayPal account. I don't care.
Yeah. I can't, I don't need it. Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need that account.
And then the spam I've been getting, like Sam's Club member, blah, like I don't belong to Sam's Club. And
you were getting one.
An Ace Hardware shopper. There's like one I get every day. Ace Hardware shop. I've never been in Ace Hardware.
Where's our nearest Ace Hardware?
Nearest
one that I know of is
really
in
think I'm dumb.
Suffern. Suffern is a good 45 minutes from us, and I think I'm not going there for hardware. Ace is perfectly fine. I frankly
really
wouldn't mind having one. But geez.
Oh, Carradine says it's for her. It's someone using her Amazon account. Ugh.
You were getting one at one point, which was we have your password and we're holding it for ransom. And you're like, actually, that was a password from like 100 passwords ago?
That was a password from like 20 years ago. I'm like, go to town.
Go to town, guys.
I've changed my
That's
password
long
everywhere.
Since
go to
dead.
Town. Yeah.
You managed to find some information on me, but you're not quite there, suckers. So the scams, man. What is this all about?
It's like when people think I'm stupid, it shows who they really are. Exactly. Like, I may be nice, but I'm not dumb.
I'm not naive. Well,
hey, can you close the window a little bit?
Sure. Getting a little brighter out there.
Yeah, the sun is like coming in weird.
Here we go. It's actually,
I'm in filmmaker mode.
Yeah.
The light isn't right.
The light. I'm just killing that entirely. If it gets too dark, we'll throw an instrument on.
The light is wrong.
That's what they say. We'll throw an instrument on.
Ace Hardware is what's left of the Old Town hardware store. Okay.
Oh
yeah. Oh, I know. Oh my God. Where we were, pardon me, choking on my own saliva. Where we were shooting had the best independent hardware store right there.
Yeah, it was just in the same facility.
So
the same
like
complex.
anytime we needed a little, like some screws or something, you could just go right there. It was great.
It saved my tuchus because I had bought a pack of hardware over at Harbor Freight that had, this has plenty of stuff. And then when I go to assemble the lumber that's holding up parts of our set, I was short 5 screws. I'm like, But I said, you know what? Save one, run to this hardware store, see if they've got loose screws. They did. Loose screws and bolts. Actually, I had plenty of screws, but no bolts.
We have a diffuser up in the attic.
Yes, we do.
It's like doing us no good right now, but yeah.
So I run to these guys, and I take, with mask on, by the way, and I found that they got filled the bag with the hardware, mark it, and I'm taking a look. And I'm like, I need 50 millimeter with this, and I found the exact bolts. Now,
I like that we're telling stories about finding
hardware, and it's great. Well, Doug will appreciate this. I'm sure Errol will appreciate this. I think you've been in this situation. I need these. Now that costs like $4. The package, the big package costs like $5.75. The lesson here is buy 2 of them because you're going to need extra parts. But hey, exact replacement. I had already drilled holes. Everything fit. A couple of washers, boom, done. And you know what? That held the setup with some sandbags. We had 4 large set pieces. By the way, currently in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
Anybody need a huge piece of pegboard that's on a frame?
If anyone wants a 4-foot by 8-foot piece of pegboard, and you can come take it away.
Not shipping this. And nor will I deliver because it will not fit to my car. But I got 3 of them that I probably can't offload.
Been in that situation.
Yeah, I'm saying I have this strange feeling you might be very familiar.
But if anyone wants a piece of 4-foot by 8-foot pegboard, we've got 4 of them that we don't have any space for.
So the things that you need to. So the fact that the facility actually had hardware right there, and I think it's going to cost more, but they had all the parts.
Give me
They had all the parts,
please.
So I was like, that was pretty exciting. You don't have to run out and find a Home Depot or something and then spend half the day finding your part.
Oh, Devin says, I love watching the people on YouTube who mess with scammers. It's super satisfying. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Oh, like drop a link or something. I love when people F with these D-bags online. These folks are just targeting people who are a little confused. That's cruel.
Doug says Ace, True Value, and Do It Right are the IGA local owned stores.
I think I do recall being in an Ace ages ago, and they were set up like a real old school hardware store that just had parts. They had all these parts. We got one in town that's been there for what looks like 110 years. And they're not as well stocked as they should be. They have a whole second floor that's kind of barren. But I went up there for the first time recently, and they had some really old school stuff like replacement.
Devin, that's a good idea.
Replacement thermos canisters for your thermos. You can actually vacuum bottle.
Wow.
And I was like, I could use one of those because I dumped one like it within the past few years and trashed the vacuum flask. So I got to check to see if they got the right size because those are actually not that common these days.
Yeah, Devin said, maybe a local church might want it. That's a good idea. Or like a school.
There's a good point.
Wood shop. Yeah. Do they still do that?
Wood shop. Well,
do they still have wood shop.
They had wood shop in my schools.
I know, but it's been a while.
I remember making some projects in junior high school that I think I still got kicking around here somewhere. That wasn't that great, but you had to learn sometime.
Oh, Eric said, okay, Devin, Eric on YouTube was saying, one of my favorite channels, especially Scambait.
Kubota and someone else.
Scambait, Kubota, and someone
else. So you can see the perp. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's great.
Reveal the perp.
I love that.
These folks are depending on being anonymous, and if you can de-anonymize them, good. You're trying to take advantage of people who have some memory problems. Ooh, shame for shame.
Did they ever catch? I don't think they ever did, but there was like this whole international scandal. I was reading about this a couple of years ago on Hollywood Reporter. There's probably a group of people, but there's one person in particular who makes the calls somewhere in Asia. I don't know exactly where, but they're preying on Hollywood people, which, like you think, oh, gee, poor studio heads. But it sucks because they've got a woman who's impersonating the head of one of the studios, like Sony Pictures or something. But she's impersonated a few women executives. But they get people, camera people or whatever, to fly to Taiwan or something on their own dime, because they say like save your receipts, you'll be reimbursed as soon as you get here and everything. And they do it, and they like get them, like say, we're going to take you to the set. They have someone meet them. Anyway, they end up getting a bunch of money out of them, and it's a scam. And then basically you're just like left there in Taiwan. There's no job. And it's been like a big thing, but I don't know if they ever caught them. I haven't heard that they caught them, but yeah.
Well, I wonder who's actually kind of pursuing that.
Oh, geez. Infiltrate their computers and delete all of their files. That's sweet. I love that.
Hacking the hackers is that's just turnabout is fair play.
Yeah.
I look at that like, whoa. Yeah. Well, that's just you open
deserve
yourself
that more.
Open yourself up for that, sucker.
Yep.
There you go.
That and more.
If you're preying on the weak out there, that's pretty low, mister. That is pretty low. So.
Oh my God. Errol says, we got back from Lisa's dad's funeral and her mom had an IRS message on her voicemail saying she owed money. He reassured her the IRS doesn't work that way.
No, it does not.
Those people are going to hell.
IRS is not going to call you.
Those people are going to hell.
Our Scenic actually noted that he's been taking care of his mother, who is of a certain age, that she had gotten a call about her new iPhone. And she told him, well, I hung up on him. He said, right move, Ma.
Yeah.
Any new iPhones are going to be coming from me. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
The scams. You're hearing about them now, folks. You're probably associated with some people of a certain age who are getting all these stupid calls. So you're familiar. And, all of those people can just go right to the hot place.
Eric says, I heard a recording of someone pranking a telemarketer and made him believe they called Area 51.
That's awesome.
Yes, they are going to hell in a handbasket, Devin.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't tell you where I am. It's classified.
So sleazy. That is like sleaze.
In a handbasket.
Yeah.
I do actually really enjoy that cliche, that phrase. And I kind of wonder the origin of that, but it's probably just alliterative. It's funny. Hell in a handbasket.
Sleazy.
Might actually be a dodge for something a little obscene, which would be okay too. There's a time and place for all of that, folks. Now I'm trying to think about what I'd like for another to follow this up, because I'm quite down.
How the hell did you get this number?
Spacing it out. How did you get this number? Who are you? And how'd you get in here?
It is fun to mess with people like that, though. Had a friend that hacked the hackers and changed their phone message stating, this is a scam, do not respond. They figured it out a few days later. I would love to see the expression on their faces when they figured it out.
Son of a bitch.
You hear weird monster noises in the background.
You really would like the opportunity when you actually are able to uncover who the troll is, who's dogging people, to just pop into to this dude's house right behind him and just sneak up behind him and go, boo. Watch him jump 10 feet and, maybe think twice about all this trollio he's been doing. Lonely, ugly people, what can I say? Not necessarily physically. It's a mental thing I'm talking about. Ugliness.
Ugly heart.
Ugly heart.
Yes.
That's what I mean here. So.
Yeah. But it may be messing with them. Just maybe all I can think of is people who make their name their Wi-Fi FBI surveillance van.
Yeah, name your Wi-Fi. You have been hacked. Bye.
Hacker one.
Get off my damn Wi-Fi, fool. That kind of thing. Whatever. That's kind of fun. There was a period of time where everybody had their wireless at home and nobody was locked down, and you could pretty much hop onto them all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And these days, every time I'm on a train with a work machine and I'm trying to connect to my phone, 20 different things pop up. It's all locked down. Everybody's figured it out by now. Occasionally, I'll get Radisson or some hotel name, and it's like, oh, I could hop on their Wi-Fi. Except I blew past that 5 minutes ago.
Well, we have unlimited data, so
yeah, we're fine.
I don't need to hop onto anyone's Wi-Fi.
I just hop on my phone. The connection is adequate for documents, and I can do a little work. And
Eric says, I saw a Wi-Fi that says "Get your own internet."
Get your own internet, freeloader.
That's good. good.
Cheapskate.
Oh, that's
you used to be able to go to these big coffee chains and grab their Wi-Fi for free, but I think then they noticed that someone would buy a coffee and sit
although
there
at the
for
studio
10
this
hours.
week, I did have to get on their Wi-Fi because I had no bars. I
Connection
had no LTE there whatsoever.
Connection in Beacon was poor coming off the phone towers.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's quite that bad. It's a substantial enough town. But
I think it was just where we were.
Yeah, where we were, I guess maybe is in a valley.
Yeah.
It's in a dip. And I don't know. It's really close to the river and the train station. We occasionally heard a train bleat as it went by. I don't think I caught that on audio.
You probably did.
Microphone was very directional.
Probably did.
I will be listening to this very carefully in no time at all, and I'll be thinking, oh yeah, there were. Yeah.
You probably, you won't hear it in the film.
But this was a sound stage. It was soundproofed. It was like sound insulated, rather, not soundproof.
Yeah, it wasn't soundproof.
It was soundproofed, obviously. It was sound insulated and very sensitive microphone that was very directional, and it was picking up my actors. That's what it was.
Your actors,
including this one over here.
Your actors.
When I'm the sound person, they're my actors. I'm there to capture.
I was saying, I'm the director.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. Oh, it was great. I haven't actually held a boom pole on set in a professional. What am I thinking? A professional application in some 30 years now. So,
what do you call the videos that we've made?
Well, I'm thinking of being on somebody else's set, and obviously what we do.
All right,
is perfectly fine.
I'm glad. It's perfectly fine.
No, somebody else has not hired me for that in a while, and I'll tell you, for the videos that we do, I'm seldom up on a ladder, but I was on a ladder this time, a couple of times anyway.
Jessica went to visit her grandmother in Pennsylvania a few months ago, and her Grammy got a call from scammers saying one of her grandchildren was in jail. And she was like, well, okay, good luck with that. Good.
Sorry, kid.
Good.
Was she talking about go screw yourself, or like, oh, well, if the kid's in jail, it's his problem?
Either way.
Either way.
It's like, your
grandchildren is in jail. Oh, yeah? Well, okay. Figure it out, kid. Ugh.
Maybe you need to be there.
Well, I kind of like that attitude. It reminds me of my grandparents. My mother told a story of being out on Narragansett Bay sometime in the 1950s with one of her good friends from grade school. And she was there on a sailboat, and it got really, really foggy.
No, a rowboat. It was
a rowboat. It got really foggy, and they were having a little trouble getting oriented. And her father comes by in his motorboat, and she's like, "Pa, help me out." And he's like, "Well, you'll figure it out." She takes off. I tell these people who are just, tough as nails and all that, you know what? She did figure it out. Here's the thing, I
want more cereal.
I'm not a big fan of coddling.
I want more artificial berry cereal.
Of handing people the tools that they need, showing them some and saying, work with it, try it out. You will figure it out. I don't mean going blind. I mean, give them, a few minutes of application and go. And you can bear in mind, I'm included in that. I get to set. I have never used this sound recorder before. I've never used this microphone. I've never used this boom pole. But I've got the basic concept, and I got levels that sounded great. And I was using a lot of C-stand, and I was using a lot. I had to use a lot of handheld. I really wasn't planning to do that because I was going to be too busy. But there were some shots that you just had to be on a ladder, and you had to be, doing this business, kind of cueing people, and you had to be quiet about it. The thing. I've done it.
More cereal?
Oh, sure. The heck. I still have my
Cash Pit Berry cereal. Okay, we got to catch up on the comments.
Still my berry milk over here.
Hi, Philip.
Hey, Philip.
Oh, Parisian breakfast with black coffee and cigarettes. Oh, geez. At a 3-star hotel. All right.
Doesn't the Parisian breakfast involve?
This could be a lot worse.
Doesn't Parisian breakfast involve a stale croissant? I'm just saying. A really good cup of coffee and a decent fresh croissant is a pretty good way to wake up to the day.
Yes, Cash Pit brand cereals. Yes, this is Cash Pit. This is Cash Pit Berry. We also have Cash Pit Wheat and Cash Pit Fruit cereal. We're going to be eating prop cereal for a long time. Yeah, long time no see, Philip. Yeah, we're going to still be eating Cash Pit cheese crackers. Cash Pit cheese balls. We got Cash Pit candy if anyone wants.
We have enough left over to pay our staff.
Amy says, then we're broke. Amy says, my parents are in their 80s and still use a rotary phone. They were getting over 30 scam calls a day. So I had to buy them a screening phone. Oh, thank heavens. Then make sure you're a real person instead of a bot. No, thank heavens you did that. Yeesh.
I remember when we lived in the last apartment, there was a big scam with these calls that were just constant. And there was a device you could buy called the phone zapper that would make the sound of a disconnected phone, and it would kill the bot, kill the automatic. So we bought that, and boy, did it just like destroy all those calls. They just stopped after that. I think I just saw it in the attic recently. I'm like, oh yeah, that thing. It's been a long time since we had a landline, but it was kind of necessary, and it worked. Funny things. Should probably hand that to Doug and have him tear it apart so I can get the sound device out of it, because that's actually a good sound to have in the arsenal.
Eric says, I just briefly had the living crap scared out of me. I looked out the window and saw this big chunk of dandelion weeds flow by, and I thought it was being invaded.
Yeah.
War of the weeds.
Day of the Triffids.
Harold says, handing people the tools they need. Growing up with my dad was like growing up with the Marlboro Man.
Here you go, son.
My gosh. Ari says there's a YouTube channel of this woman who can imitate Siri too well. She answers scam calls this way. That's so funny.
Hello. What would you like to do today?
Cash Pit berry cereal tastes a lot like Cheerios.
Strange. Well, it says it's the same as the big name, but for less cash. You know, when you use the recycled milk, it's
Jamie.
It's even berrier. Very good. I think there's about 2 grams of fiber in there too.
Oh, Philip remembers the zapper.
The zapper. Tell a zapper.
Jamie popped in between thunderstorms on North Carolina coast.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
Hope you're not getting hammered down.
Yeah.
There.
Oh my God.
Although right now we wouldn't. This area wouldn't mind the water.
You know what, Mom? I don't answer either, unless I know who it is.
Yep. Nope. I don't. And the problem is we start doing production, and I start getting calls from Connecticut and New Jersey, wherever, and I'm like, that might be somebody I need to know. And if I get a strange number that's 917, I think that could be the office. We're all
when we were shooting, I was answering the phone.
Yeah.
If it was a New York number,
I just started putting people's names in the phone, so your name comes up. Done. Yeah. Done. Go in my phone book. Why not? You know what? This was a great crew and a great cast, and it was a good facility too, and I would work with them all again. So, everyone.
Dad was tough but fair. Aww.
Hey, tough and fair is great. You know, fairness is the essential thing. I know it's a term that people have trouble with.
Can you imagine if the scam calls were made by Alexa? There's a movie in there.
I want to see Alexa try to scam Siri. Yeah, or the bots right there. Try it out, suckers.
Alexa versus Siri.
So you see, people will have trouble with the term fair. Fair, life isn't fair. And I think, yeah, well, how about there should be some equitability though. And if there isn't, that's a real problem. It's good to hear. That's exactly what you need to be. And tough is good. It's kind of like a boy named Sue. Son, I knew I wasn't going to be around, so I had to give you something to toughen you up. Great story song, Shel Silverstein. And it's Johnny.
My name is Sue.
How do you do? Now you're going to die. No, it's just a classic. Well, you saw a band play that live not all that long ago.
Yeah, it was great.
They kind of killed it. They said, we're not that good on this. I'm like, yeah, you're all right on that. They were pretty fun. Pretty loud, too.
Exactly. Alexa versus Siri.
Humidifier, dehumidifier. Yeah, we actually do want a dehumidifier and a humidifier.
Hi, Abra. Good to see you. And Gettysburg Man. Hello.
Gang's all here. Here we go.
Yay. Good. Glad to see you both.
Fantastic. We're all talking about production. If you missed some of the talk, it's been a whirlwind. It's easily been 6 months of thinking about this and doing things about this. This one here did something like 90 to 95% of the legwork working up to this. And the detail on the set, the small details on the set, it's like all the labels, that label on there.
Oh yeah, but I've got to say, we had an amazing scenic designer helping us.
Yeah, he's a really college friend, great, fantastic.
He works on TV shows
he
now.
works on big stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which. I don't want to reveal things, but
we don't want to out him unless he wants to be outed.
Name stuff. It's up to him, you know. And the fact is that he's just had the tools, and he had the warehouse full of crap that really helped us out, and also some great shelves that really fleshed out the store.
Oh, Eric's asking, okay, software for editing. We need new software. We've been using Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut 10.
Yeah, and now we need to get Premiere.
All of the people working in the industry,
everyone's using Premiere.
Many people used to use Final Cut. I did the big look into this to see, well, what is what and why is it and who's doing what for what reason. I must go somewhere and figure that out. Yeah. But basically, we actually had a good talk with the guy running the facility just yesterday about things, and he had really good advice about each part. Yeah. It breaks down like this. There's the company, there's the Avid company. They make Avid. They also do Pro Tools for audio. They bought that out, and they do Sibelius for music notation. That's all the same thing. Avid goes back to the 1980s.
Yes, we wrapped, Devin.
And they pretty quickly established themselves as digital nonlinear editing software by the early 90s and became the de facto standard in Hollywood. Now, they're big, they're expensive, they're very intensive. There's a big hardware component to it, and there's tons of software upgrades and things. It's a very robust suite. And, one basic opinion on that is, but they're all about huge companies. If you're a small player, their support doesn't have time for you. I think that's a problem. So, and I suppose you're making YouTube videos, but you just want to make them look good. And you want to use good software. You don't want to use the freebie software that came with the computer. If you want to get one step above, you're looking at something like Blackmagic DaVinci.
Oh, Eric remembers Avid.
Adobe Premiere. And then maybe even, Magix Vegas. That used to be a Sony product. And I don't know who uses that these days, except that appears to be highly suitable for music videos. So those are the things.
But, Don says DaVinci. Yeah, DaVinci Resolve. Yeah.
Resolve.
A lot of people use that too.
Bang. There we go. Yep. All the pros are coming out. DaVinci was started out as color correction software.
But 100% of the people I've talked to are Premiere. Everyone's like, just get Premiere.
Well, for one, Adobe products right now are on a subscription package.
Yeah.
You're not dropping $600 on Premiere. You're dropping, what, 20 a month?
It's like $21 a month.
$21 a month? Yeah. So you've got Premiere. And then, of course, you could also bundle that with other products, and you get After Effects, and you
Eric likes
get the sound production. Oh, okay. So there we go. I find that these products that kind of get the short shrift from pros, then you'll find people using them who say, oh, no, this works perfectly fine. Because DaVinci was actually what they call color grading. That's sort of color altering software. There's a lot of reasons you would use that.
Yeah.
Mostly to sort of correct variations between scenes and rolls of film, so to speak. There's no such thing anymore. And but there's also the idea that you can take an entire picture and give it a certain color cast. I was just name checking Nightmare Alley. And who is that? Yeah. Who is that director again?
Oh, Guillermo del Toro.
I was thinking Benicio del Toro. No, Guillermo del Toro. All of his films have this look. It's like they went through the slate gray filter.
Yeah, Eric, you're right. It all revolves around what you want to see in the end product.
And that's color grading. He's able to do a full color picture, but it has a certain cast to it. That's what that's all about. Texture. It's adding texture to it. A lot of ways to do that, but these days, mostly post-production, you're going through a digital color grading thing. And there are a lot of different suites that do it. So I can't exactly name those right now. But for basically, if you were interested to go for a more professional product, you'd probably give Premiere a whirl. If you had a larger company, you'd probably just jump on the Avid ship. I mean, it's a totally embedded product. I can't say I wouldn't use it. I'm just thinking it's expensive and I need tech support.
Well, that's the thing. I have no time for a company that has no time.
There's no time for me. So fine.
I can't tell you how many people don't return your calls when you're a small producer.
So fine.
I could tell stories, but I'll do that in person of people that just didn't return our calls.
And
we just weren't big enough for them.
In the meantime, for smaller products, we still have the We sell the Final Cut Pro, and it works perfectly fine for what it does. It's just it's kind of outclassed these days in some ways.
Okay, Jamie says $38 a month with my Premiere, Photoshop, Lightroom bundle. Okay,
there we go.
Never used the latter. Oh yeah, I had to bail on Final Cut after my last Mac upgrade. You know, I use it still for our videos, but awesome. I'm just so ready to dump it.
It works.
I'm so ready to.
It works perfectly fine for what it does.
Yeah,
there's really no problem with that.
And however, Don used it to edit his nephew's graduation video.
Yep. You're talking about Premiere, Don, or
DaVinci
or DaVinci
Resolve? Yeah.
DaVinci Resolve. Okay. Yeah. This was a product from the DaVinci company, and that was going back to the 80s, 90s, and whatnot. And then eventually it gets bought out by Blackmagic. I'm naming all the big boys here.
Usually name dropping now.
Why not? I looked at all this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, we got some Blackmagic products around here.
We do.
They usually have these like tiny little black boxes that interface to get your camera up to the internet.
Or down.
Which works. Or down. Ours never did.
The case may be.
Yeah, maybe I'll try it again. Things got upgraded. And they bought out DaVinci. So now it's a Blackmagic product. And they decided to make it not just grading and to make it an editing suite. And you know, people are using it, and I've heard of people using it for pretty substantial projects. If it works, it works. I mean, it's like the audio recording software. It used to be like one product. Everyone used Pro Tools. There was even a free version of it. But now there are a lot of free audio recording software software packages out there that work really, really high quality well. It's a very clumsy way to put that. They work really well, and they're very high quality. And we used one that actually did cost, but it was inexpensive. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. I've also used the Apple product, and I'm not happy with its limitations. So we moved on. And that's what happens sometimes.
GarageBand?
Yeah.
I was going to say, what are we even talking about right now?
GarageBand, if you want to get something going quick and dirty, it's a really good package of tools, and it's got a ton of things installed.
Although you did Glendora's song in GarageBand.
I did. So if you wanted to just grab some loops, make a song, and make it sound like something, I don't know if there's another product out there right now that does that well. There probably is. Now, these other products don't have all that stuff installed, but you don't need it because you're going to be going in and doing this fresh. You're going to do it yourself. And I've even heard of people working with, what was the free product for audio recording, Audacity, which I have used and still use, works very well for the purpose. That's a real... It's quick and clean. That's what it is. It's not dirty. So that's good stuff.
I never do audio editing. I do video editing, but
I do both.
Yeah.
And I'm frequently doing audio editing from Upload Records. Well, we do a little collection here every year around Christmas time, and you got to trim the tracks to length. A lot of stuff comes from formats, tape, LPs, you know.
I'm afraid this is going to shoot out our lamp if the cork blows off.
If it blows. Well, it's kind of like pushing itself off, like vaguely.
No.
Well, I think
paid money for that lamp.
Time for me for a bit of a refill, so I think I'm going to check that out.
I know.
Resolve sound editing and compositing. Here you go. Thank you. So there are features for audio recording even within Final Cut that I've never really used because I had other things to do it. It got better, and then it kind of got leveled itself off.
God.
Oh, please, more BS. Bye.
My phone's blowing up.
Damn, maybe you should turn the ringer off so I don't even hear it. Straight to voicemail.
I'm afraid I'll forget to turn it back on.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to give myself a rinse, and then I think it is spritz time.
Oh,
spritz time.
You got to bring. Well, we don't have oranges. Can't do Aperol spritzes without oranges.
Are you interested? You're out.
All right. I'll have an orangeless Aperol spritz.
Orangeless. Yeah.
Okay. You're going to need to go find some seltzer for that. Oh, I know which seltzer you should bring in.
I think I do.
This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
That's a classic.
Oh my gosh. Scammers.
You know my favorite of all of them.
Oh, Abra, I was just having a mimosa. I think we're going to make Aperol spritzes now.
You think correctly.
Jessica just got a scammer call. Oh no. What was it? What was the call, Devin? What was the scam? What's the gag? I'm sure it was a spam call. I'll have to I'll have to see later if they left a voicemail. But that's always the best when they leave a voicemail. I'm like, please call us back. I'm like, in what universe
is that going to happen?
Would I call you back? Yeah. Anyway, what universe would I return this call? I love a mimosa too.
2 at the most.
Actually, I had 2.
I had 2. Actually, I had 2.
I'm ready for my Aperol spritz now.
Coming.
Theoretically, you're supposed to have an orange slice in your Aperol spritz. We don't actually have an orange, so we're just gonna have to make do.
Yes, I should have grabbed it.
We're gonna have to muddle through.
We'll have to muddle through somehow.
Exactly.
If you could pass me the bubbles,
I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to drip everywhere. So here.
I'll take them as.
We ended up behind the bar anyway.
There
I was thinking we'll do the video over here.
It's getting a little crowded over there.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of stuff on this table. We got like milk and bitters and an ice bucket.
All kinds of stuff, huh?
Berry cereal on the floor. Hope I don't forget that. Oh, you could hook up an answering machine. Yes. Oh, I remember getting the busy signal on the answering machine, Eric. Yes. Oh, Abra, thank you. Abra likes the leg lamp cork.
And the leg lamp cork.
Philip says, I should probably be taking notes, planning a video log of the UK beginning this autumn. Should be moving into the new digs in 2 weeks. Nice.
Very nice.
Yay.
So here we go. Switch to the other platform, please.
Okay.
Let's see what I'm doing here. Oh, thank you. And just a touch of
Cash Pit soda.
Cash Pit soda to top it up. That's your Aperol spritz right there.
So it's got Aperol, champagne, and a topper of seltzer.
Topper of seltzer. I'm not sure why you need the seltzer in this.
I don't know. Just to lighten it up a little.
Formal's right on the bottle.
But you got to show them the label.
Yes, it is.
It's not seltzer. It's Cash Pit soda.
Cash Pit soda. Just like the other name brand, the other brand of seltzer, but for less cash. Good to have around.
Oh, Lisa says she first had an Aperol spritz. Oh, in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place to have it.
That certainly
No. We learned a lot from the Italians. That would be the place to have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
The reason that this is a favorite for brunch, of course, is it's a little lighter. And the reason it's a great idea for a brunch or really any other time is it's a little lighter. You have around, you're with friends, you're socializing, you want another round. If it was a French 75, a couple of those and you're like, I'm getting sleepy. So
Amy said, my friends were having Aperol spritzers without orange slices the other night. I refrained from saying anything as it was her birthday. And when asked if there was anything she needed, she said, bubbly.
Bubbles.
Devin says, oh, yeah, the scam calls. Devin says they wait for her to say something and she just doesn't. So they said nothing. She says they want to record your voice. Even better if they get you saying yes.
Do scammy things with it.
Yes. I just said yes. I was on a train one time. I was talking to this guy on the train and we were about to pull into our station and he got one of those calls and they say, like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And he's like, yes, I can hear you. I was like, oh, no.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I have taken to answering these in foreign languages to see if somebody figures out or just hangs up. I get the call, I'll pick it up, I'll go presto. And then there's this long silence and I'll just wait for it, click,
Mm-hmm.
And when sometimes someone will pop on and say, oh, I want to tell you about extended warranty. Really? You hadn't ordered one of those, bye. So scam. It's funny, we went from legitimate filmmaking to
oh my gosh,
trying to nail the suckers, man. But it's good to talk about these things because you're hearing about these things. Some of us may not know all the nuances. This is what this discussion group's all about.
Eric says there's this guy that has MP3 of stories and actual recording of an old phone network sounds. Oh my gosh.
Doorbell. Oh, a phone freak. Oh, the phone freaks, of course, were scamming the phone company by there was a little device that was like a whistle that would imitate the phone switching tones.
Oh.
And so you could actually connect to long distance. get into a phone booth like bleat, and suddenly you're calling California for 10 cents. That was back around 1970 that this was happening.
You can't get birthday drunk on orange slices. That's what it says. Oh yeah, the voice scam. I remember hearing about that, and then hearing the guy fall for it. I was like, oh no.
So now
I didn't say anything to him because
we've told you something
too
useful.
Late then, so
we told you something useful. It's the thing. I basically think don't give anything.
Oh my gosh,
don't give anything.
Don says people are always calling me wanting to buy my house. I get letters in the mail.
Yeah, we're getting
people wanting to buy my house. I'm like, no, you can't have my house.
Are you kidding? Away. I could sell it to you for not enough money, and then where am I going to go?
Yeah, where am I going to live? Can't afford to buy a house these days.
Forget it, fellas. That's why they want to buy your house.
I know. Can't have it.
Desperately. Want to give yourself a stir?
Oh, thank you. Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am says I got rid of my landline this month. We haven't had a landline in a long time, actually. Oh yeah. Oh, Aubrey gets the letters too.
Haven't had a landline here. Oh, that's better. Give it a good stir. Get that bitterness.
Eric says, I get these calls where they ask if I can hear them. I answer by going, like Bobcat Goldthwait. The Captain Crunch whistle.
There was that. I think you can find a lot of this stuff by getting a copy of Steal This Book by Abby Hoffman. And if you actually pay for a copy of Steal This Book, is that like wrong? This is the question. There was a scam where you could, around 1969-70, where the New York City subway token, which was a really small token at the time, was exactly the same size as this small coin, I believe, from Finland. So you could actually go to a coin shop and buy a roll of these coins for cheap, and then you were getting rides on the subway. And that's a scam. Like before there were magnetic tokens and all sorts of things that happened. And today it's just all on cards.
Julie gets car warranty offers in the mail for cars she hasn't had in years.
Seriously.
I'm not surprised. We occasionally get mail for the woman who used to own this house. Yeah. We've lived here for 19 years.
Hello.
And she was out of here before that because she had moved into a assisted living facility. So yeah, it's been at least 20 years since she lived here. And we'll get like junk mail for her. You really need to update your mailing list.
Old information, old lists.
Oh, Bobcat. Oh yeah.
The blue boxes. Okay. Nope. Never heard of the blue boxes. I've heard of like some of these scams. The phone freak is kind of fun because it was all about imitating the phone switching noises. Like the touch-tone phone, if you ever listened to one of those and punch buttons.
Amy, you gave me a good idea.
Yep. You punch buttons on a touch-tone phone, you're listening to two tones simultaneously. The combination of tones tells you that it's a 1, not a 9, for instance. So if you could imitate that, I remember a guy used to have a little device that would have his whole like phone codes when he had to punch into his, what am I thinking of? Like his voicemail and stuff like that. Because it would take forever to punch this on the thing. So he would get on the phone and just like put his voice up, bleep, 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 and it would just do it. So that's kind of fun.
Amy says, people try to buy my house and I laugh and say, where would I live?
Where do I live? Where am I
going to go? It would be funny if you said to them, like, you know what, you can buy I'm still going to live in it.
I'm going to live in it.
I have to still live in it, but if you want to buy it.
I would be very happy for you to pay my mortgage.
Yeah, you can.
Whilst I live here.
Oh, Don gets the letters too. It's crazy. I'm not selling. My mortgage is almost paid off. Oh my gosh.
There you go. 17 years. Everybody has these experiences.
Yeah, Abra too. Yeah, same. Getting letters for the former owners. Oh.
Well, we're talking about common experiences, crazy. And the script you wrote for Ellen Waits is about experiences that everybody has had.
Oh yeah.
When you do see our little epic, once it is epicked, you will go, oh, gee, does this look too familiar? But yeah, it does. It's all from life, people.
Oh, Eric says the blue box was a circuit you built that emulated the phone operator version of the touch tones that gave you extra functionality of the phone network. Oh, okay.
Making a trunk call.
A trunk call.
There's an antiquated term. I'm pulling that off of Dr. Strangelove. That's actually a great line because he's having trouble figuring out what the hell you call a long distance call in the States because he's an English officer. It's all about communication, folks. Fun stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Valves remotely. Oh yeah, stuff like that. There,
man.
There's it's all these little stunts that you used to have to go through and all the fun things.
Oh, Amy's mortgage is almost paid off too. Wow.
Hello.
Not ours.
Now you're rocking. Well, it was getting down there.
Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am says, my mailman often gives my mail to the neighbors. I tell him that's fine as long as you're giving them the bills.
As long as they're paying the bills. Hey. All this talk about all these networks, we're talking about the original internet was the phone system, with the plain old phone system, phone service.
GPS.
Or GPS.
TPC.
The phone company. There's a little gag from the president's analyst. Yep. Well, I love that. But that back in the day, the second big network. First big network was, of course, the telegraph. But they replaced by voice communication with the telephone. And that's the one that covers the nation, and then your neighbors, and then the whole world. And that was like, huge amounts of electromechanical switches. How the hell did that all work? Back in the 1890s, it was all on batteries. Wow. But then eventually it becomes electrified. But the phone system always had its own power so that the phone would always work, you recall. Power went out, your phone worked.
Jerry says, if you ever played with the phone back in the day, dialed a number, and before you heard the phone ring sound, heard these sequence of touch tones, those were blue box tones. Okay. I'm learning so much.
Probably good hacking side out there documenting that.
I don't miss dial-up. I don't miss dial-up either, Opera.
Please. We're talking getting onto the internet. Yeah. Those screechy tones. There you go.
Oh, jeez.
That's the sound of your digital information going back and forth. Yeah. There is a sound to this broadcast that's being sent to you right now, if you were to quantify it, and it would sound like screeching horribleness. But that's actually fictitious.
Oh, yeah. What was that guy's name? Julie says, remember the Police Academy actor who could do all those sound effects? Yeah, I do remember that. But who was that?
I don't remember the guy.
I do. I remember that.
Michael something. But look up a Police Academy.
I bet he really could mess with phone scammers. You're right.
Seriously, what a talent. It's sort of a singular talent, but still.
Oh, Gettysburg Ma'am. Oh, congratulations. Gettysburg Ma'am says, my daughter just got a full ride scholarship.
Wow.
So she's looking at building her own 2022 Bronco. So it'll be the only bill she'll be paying for a while. That's wonderful.
Fun stuff, eh?
All right, I got to look this up.
Fun stuff going through. Now you got to find this business. I'm thinking about other sorts of tricks and stunts out there from back in the day. I remember, I never did that kind of stuff, but when I started doing electronics, it was always about building a little black box that would improve your audio or something. There was plans I saw from Audio Magazine in 1985, and I just looked this up on one of those archives.
Which one was him?
Michael Winslow.
Oh, was that him?
That's the guy, I think.
I don't know.
I think that's the guy.
Is it?
Yeah. Anybody want to back me up? I never saw these pictures. I remember seeing clips from them, so you can see the guy doing the sound effects.
Yeah.
He was pretty amazing. He should have been
Oh, Michael Winslow. Okay, you're correct. Michael Winslow.
He should have been touring with the Fat Boys, with all that beatbox stuff. He would have been his own act.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, and there was a little thing where you could improve your audio imaging with this little box that was a side mid matrix, and that was the first time I'd ever heard that. It worked. It still works. It's a very simple device, and these days you do it with software. And I use that all the time with software for audio work. It's a noise reduction technique. So interesting, huh? Fun stuff.
Harold says, funny on the screeching. Soon kids will not know what that is, nor be able to tell analog time or read cursive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's true.
What is this?
It's true.
Cursive, of course, was a time saver invented during the Middle Ages.
I remember hearing something, and I feel like this might have been apocryphal, about kids not being able to read a clock, like a clock that wasn't digital, a clock with hands, they didn't know what it meant. That can't be real.
If you have not been taught what those, I'm looking at one right now. There's one behind me. You might be able to see. If you have not been taught what those two arms mean and what they're corresponding to, who knows? Who knows? And then there's always military time.
Oh my gosh. Philip says, I don't include it on the resume, but in 1990-ish, I was a camera operator for a few 976 chat line commercials. Those guys do all the phone scams. That's hilarious.
Jeez.
Another vote for Michael. Okay, Michael Winslow.
Here's another camera operator, eh?
That's so funny.
Fellow professional.
Oh my God.
Funny stuff. I never did camera op outside of one college project where I was on the 16 millimeter for a couple of shots. But basically, I was audio operator operating the Nagra. It was a great machine, and I kind of miss something with a lot of tactile control. Because when you're trying to like get your signal correct by going click, 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 it's a pain in the neck.
Oh my gosh.
But the digital recorder worked really well.
So funny. Gettysburg Ma'am says, apparently using disposable cameras is becoming popular again. My college student got one and was like, wait, how do you work this?
How do you work this thing? Click.
Oh, that's funny.
Click. You remember film? It was just on set when you're shooting. There's something called continuity, of course. And if you're shooting various different scenes and you want to remember what was on top of your counter, what do? You take a picture. Where's your camera? It's on your belt loop. I get one
for you.
Boom.
I get one for you. Eric says,
hold on. So you take your picture. It's on your belt loop. Boom. And I was just describing to somebody, the last time I was kicking on sets, you weren't going to take a picture. You're going to get it developed in 3 days. Funny.
Eric says, can you imagine explaining to today's kids what shortwave radio is?
No, geez. It's still out there. I mean, we've got a shortwave set right over there. It's a German set.
Lisa says cursive is code for us old folks. We don't want the young kids knowing what we're saying.
Hey, it works two ways,
spelling
right?
it out in front of a 4-year-old. Exactly.
Works 2 ways now, doesn't it? Shortwave, and then of course ham radio. Ham radio is alive and well, as far as I know. It's not as popular as it used to be, but people use it.
That's so funny.
And the operator is still key too, which is pretty amazing because I don't think it's any longer required for your license.
She was like, I have to wait 3 days for my pics. I'm like, welcome to 1987.
There you go, kids.
Hilarious.
Unless you use one of those, I think it's Fuji right now has an instant camera. Am I wrong?
Oh my gosh.
We had Sarah from Ohana actually was taking pictures with, and we got one of those. It's a tiny little thing. It's not as big as a Polaroid.
Julie says, my niece asked me how typewriters work. Well, yeah, if you haven't seen one,
Well, is she familiar with the large size keyboard and not just typing with her finger? Then that's how typewriters work, kid. So there you go. But can you touch type? Now, that's potentially a lost skill. I learned it. I still do it.
And
it's great to be able to do this and turn to somebody, keep talking, and then have them go, how do you... I'm like, because the fingers do all the walking.
Mm-hmm.
There's an old phone book thing for you.
Yeah.
Boy, we're getting all the old phrases.
It would drive me crazy to hunt and pack.
Yeah. My mother actually did not touch type, and she really urged us to take the classes. Well, look, it was a semester in high school. It's nothing.
Karen says, I've had people tell me I have beautiful cursive handwriting, but they can't read it. Maybe I should have been a doctor.
And the flip side of that is if you're actually very good at interpreting that, maybe you should have been a pharmacist. I always make that joke.
Yeah.
But it's very true.
You can't use a phrase, reach out and touch someone today. No, can't say that anymore.
Oh, you say that and then you're getting in trouble on the internet. This is the thing.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Gettysburg Ma'am, I think you're right. There's a video on YouTube with 2 kids trying to figure out how to make a call on a rotary phone.
That was a gag in the movie In and Out.
In and Out, yes. Yeah.
Long time ago
Kevin
now. It's like
Kline.
20 years ago by now.
Yeah, his girlfriend, who was a model, was just like, she was trying to make a call on it.
Making a gag at the expense of the supermodels. But it was a good gag then. It's a good gag now.
Oh, Phillips says still have Panasonic PV Handycam parts that I came across while throwing out junk for the UK move. Oh my gosh.
Oh, excellent.
I'm sure. Well, Paul has a basement full of stuff like that.
Maybe. I'm trying to reduce the pile of obsolete tech that just will not interface with anything. And
phone books. We got a phone books.
They keep dropping.
They dropped a phone book on us the other day. I'm like, really?
Ow, Although they're tiny these days, it's the size of a paperback.
But still,
it's a waste of paper.
I haven't used a phone book in 10 years anyway.
If I don't see
the Donnelly directory,
if I look through a phone book and don't see record stores listed, toss. Useless.
Oh my God, Rolodex.
The thing about technology is,
Rolodex.
If it's like recent tech, like this is for your Palm Pilot, it's kind of junk. But if it's like 40 years old, wait a minute, now it's a film prop. I also think like if it's old enough to have vacuum tubes, keep all the interfaces because now you're talking, baby.
Yeah, Getty Romano says, well, I still say crank your window down. My kids are like, crank?
And what? What am I cranking? Yeah, the truck I was driving from U-Haul cranked its windows down.
That did. I noticed that. That had crank windows.
When is this from? 1989? Yeah, no buttons. So in order to if she goes up to the passenger side to talk to me, I'm like, I can't reach that.
He couldn't roll the window down.
Come on. Hilarious.
Well, there was you told me you asked me to put something in the truck in the passenger side, and it wasn't locked. It was locked.
Yep.
So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go open the driver's side door and unlock it. No, I had to climb into the cab and crawl over and manually unlock the door. Like, okay.
What have we come to, folks? This is a new truck.
Oh, gosh.
I've been sitting around forever.
Yeah, I could type without looking at the keyboard.
You know?
Steve Martin was excited when the new phone books came out.
Funny. So a Rolodex, there's a good one. I start thinking about old communications technology when people talk about, does he ever still have a fax machine? I think Christy was talking about that recently. Somebody was wondering how to use the fax. Machine. They're going to have trouble using the copier.
I had someone ask me recently, do you have a fax? I'm like, no, I do not have a fax. This is 1988. No,
we have a printer which has fax capability, and it keeps asking me to set up the fax. I'm like, I don't have a phone line attached to you, fool.
I gotta read this off. Yep. Jamie says, had an amazingly refreshing cocktail last night at dinner. Okay, an Old York sour featuring Old Forester, fresh lemon lime sour, and topped with mellow floater. That sounds good.
I like that.
That sounds great.
That wine float, was that wine float or a port float? Because I think a port float was a really common thing back in the day, and you would have been using rye or bourbon. So hey, that sounds like a classic, actually.
Oh yeah. Never say yes when you don't know who it is on the phone.
No.
Sheridan is correct.
No, take it from me. Just go presto, and they'll sit there for a second saying, "Who the hell are they called?" And when they finally come on, they probably won't. They'll probably just hang up. Bye. Out of my life. Scam. I tell you. They're trying to trick people, and they're trying to find people who are confused. That's pretty low, mister. If I had my rubber hose,
Exactly.
Some people just kind of deserve a little beating now and then. I'm talking about scammers, not people who don't deserve a beating. Seriously.
Not people. Only people who do deserve a beating.
Only people who deserve a beating.
Wine floater sounds good.
But we were talking about, at your office, what's the obsolete thing?
Ooh, Arbor, that sounds good too. Old fashioned with tequila in it.
Now you're talking.
Amazing.
Tequila old fashioned is a known quantity, and it's an excellent idea.
Sounds great.
It's a simple thing. It's really good. A tequila sour, of course, is a margarita. There you go. A simple thing.
One ringy dingy. Two ringy dingy. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Just lost Peoria.
I love Lily
Tomlin. We just finished the series of Grace and Frankie, which is hilarious. I mean, Lily Tomlin is just so spot on the whole way. So yeah, she's absolutely dead funny. So that's worth your time. And of course, it is actually featuring a lot of actors of a certain age. So I say booyah, because they are still awesome. They're still just doing what they do. And actually dealt with a lot of issues of people of a certain age, so it's relevant,
but funny.
But it's hilarious. These people are hilarious. It's great stuff. Martin Sheen, hilarious. Sam Waterston, hilarious.
Oh my gosh! Remember the party lines on the phone? I never lived in a place that had party lines, but I definitely remember hearing about party lines.
I never actually participated in a party line outside of living with 3 other roommates with one phone.
Oh,
not really a party line. We were all paying the bill on the thing, and we could only be on one at a time. But getting people to be off the phone, sometimes it was me. Yeah, hogging the phone, pal. But you of course had an apartment where you were not standing for a shared TV set. You got your own, and you got your own cable.
I got my own. Yeah, I got my own cable in my bedroom, and I eventually got my own phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one roommate who would stay on forever.
Yeah.
And this was way before cell phones. I'm like, no, I just got my own phone.
Is it nice? We were talking about, was it Christy talking recently about how somebody at our office had no idea how to use the fax machine or didn't know what it was, that thing. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of obsolete tech by now. And I was thinking, find a business that's been there for a really long time that still has, are you ready? A telex machine. The telex. Does anybody here remember what that was? That's something that I have heard the term forever. And sometime around 20 years ago, I looked it up and said, oh, that's what that is. There was a period where it was the only officially recognized electronic communications technology for security. Like if you wanted to send something securely, businesses would recognize a telex more than anything else.
This is so funny.
There's a reason for that.
Karen says, if you look on Zillow, there's a tree in front of my house. You can't see it. Then I get postcards with photos from Zillow. Is this your house? And it's just the tree.
It's
yes,
the tree.
I live in the tree.
I live in the tree. I'm in the tree house. Hey, it's comfortable. Live in the open air.
Oh, Errol says, we had party line in the country. We tried to listen in on the gossip, but their hearing was good. They'd always tell us to leave.
Who was that? Get off, please. Yeah.
Get off this line. You hear that in old movies. Get off this line.
Put the handkerchief over the microphone there. That kind of thing.
I always say that, Abra. I am glad we lived before all this stuff.
Sure.
The technology.
Sure.
And yeah.
And we certainly lived in the first era of PCs, and back when it was just.
Lisa says we had a party line in the 70s.
Oh, funny.
Yep.
I remember.
Oh, Satellite's parents had a party line. Yep.
Oh, funny.
Oh my gosh, so lines. Funny.
You remember the actual first generation of PCs? I don't. And I've seen the history of them subsequently. And the earliest days, you were just buying a bucket of parts and putting things together. It was amazing.
Gettysburg Man went to an estate sale last night, and they were selling an old Philco TV with the first cable attached to it. The thing looked like a fire hose.
Probably. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Hilarious.
There were some cable TV setups in the 50s that were designed to actually give you better reception. Like if you lived in the valley in the West and you weren't getting anything. Well, somebody could put an antenna on top of the mountain, send the cable down, amplify it, and just distribute it. That was cable TV. You just had a huge antenna to pull stuff in. And then eventually you had subscription services. There was one in the early 60s in New York City that broadcast special entertainment, and they would do things like Broadway shows. There is a recording out there. We have it on a disc somewhere of Showgirl, the show with Carol Channing.
Oh, yeah.
We have the album. It's hilarious. And this was done over that service. And I need to look up and figure out what the hell that was. But this would have been in Manhattan, and you would have been paying a pretty good premium to see Broadway shows over the cable to your TV. And I think, what was it hooked up to? TVs didn't have a cable connector. So you probably had to have a guy come over and install something on the back of your TV set. Funny. I still want to put an antenna on top of the roof and get better FM. Call me living in the 70s.
Well, I just think about what I always think about pre-internet. I think, remember when people bought zines? Fanzines? Like I remember, I still have zines.
I might resemble that,
I still have a bunch of zines down in the basement.
Sure.
Yeah, because you couldn't just go to a website, like, people's pages.
How did you find out about stuff?
Yeah, how'd you find out about stuff? Zines,
comic books, distributed things, leaflets distributed at sci-fi shows. There you go. Before there was, MonsterCon and all that, Dragon Con, you had to go to these other conventions. You had to have these like mimeographed leaflets being handed out. Mimeograph, hello. Dittos, fun stuff.
Ira says, I remember being so amazed in 1993 at the moving pictures on a friend's new PC.
Sure.
I remember I had a job where a friend was like, they were doing some stuff on the computer, and a friend was like, oh, I'll show you how to use the computer. And it was all DOS.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like,
line commands, green screen.
He was trying to show me. And I was like, but in no time, they had PC or like,
not WYSIWYG.
What do they call it?
Yeah.
No, what do they call it?
Operator interface.
Yeah, I forget what they call it, but yeah, it was like
GUI. graphic user interface. That's what we're using these days.
Yes.
So instead of all these damn commands, you're just doing pictures and pressing buttons, which of course people think is Macintosh. It's actually Xerox PARC. It's Xerox PARC. And
the huge
made it all.
discs. So. Julie says, I just lost it.
Here we go. Here we go. Big fun.
Alpha is pre-cell phone days when people didn't expect you to be available 24/7. Exactly.
I'm in bed.
Yes.
You know, that kind of thing. NCR paper, dot matrix printer.
Dot matrix printer.
Seriously.
$400. Wow.
6 calls from the car.
Oh my God.
Does anybody remember the pre-cell?
The huge satellite dishes. Yes.
The pre-cell.
I remember that.
The pre-cell phone car phone service was a radio phone service from the 40s.
Yeah.
And you'll see 60s TV shows and somebody says, I need to make a call. Oh, you can use the car phone. That was not a cell phone. It was radio. That was only introduced around 47, 48, actually. But the technology had been in place for a long time. And that was there until you actually had cellular, and then it just completely got wiped out.
I remember in the 80s when car phones were first coming in and being in someone's car who had a phone. He's like, yeah, go ahead, make a call. I'm showing up. I know.
And right now you're
like,
thinking,
guess where I am? I'm in a car.
I'm in a car. You know, that's the call that you would make. It's moronic. But, and of course you're thinking to yourself, yeah, that was $1 a minute. And the guy's like, sure, make a call, whatever.
No, he was trying to show off.
I was on a set for a commercial around 1990, and I really needed to make a call. And a guy had a phone, and I was describing my dilemma, and he hands me this big brick and says, make the call. And I was like, but this is going to be really expensive. He's like, no, it's not. It's a New York phone. So the calls weren't actually going to cost him that much, even though he was operating out of LA. Interesting.
Jamie says radio phone service. Had those in our staff vehicles during my newspapering days.
Hello. There we go.
Wow.
Radio phones. It was just sending the phone signal. Your wired phone service goes over a radio transmitter and like goes boom, boom, point to point, and then back to your phone. That was, I think you had to call, like pick up the phone and talk to the operator, say, get me this line, and away you went. You see this in movies, and it's always some fat cat in the car, like making calls, being a big shot. And then you see some guys in movies where it's so like, Sydney arrives at 21 in Sweet Smell of Success, and they bring a phone to the table, and he plugs it into the floor.
Ship to shore radio calls.
Ship to shore.
Yep.
There you go.
Ship to shore.
It's
like Love Boat.
And of course, we can get really antique and say pre-radio and just talk about the wireless. And I cannot do Morse code. I never learned, and there really wasn't any reason to at the time.
I was going to say, why would you
learn this? But I appreciate not only the vacuum tube technology, but pre-vacuum tube, when you were literally taking a generator and making a spark fly. And that's why they called the radio guys Sparkies, because that was happening. It was hazardous work. It was pretty huge equipment. It was tremendous amounts of radio interference from those things at the time. It was all free in the ether. And it worked. You could get signals around the world at the time with dots and dashes. Wow.
Eric says, I remember when I was a kid, my father had one of those UHF radios where you can pick up radio phone signals and even hear calls made from airplanes. Wow.
If you're on the correct bandwidth, correct band, rather, you can hear these things. Police band, airplane band, commercial, citizens band. Everybody remembers now. It's all separated in the frequency spectrum.
Oh, the first cellular phones with a retractable antenna that was 2 feet long. Yeah, he's working me out.
Hilarious. You remember that? You remember having just a wireless inside the house that wasn't even a cell phone that had this long antenna. So big brick things. Oh yeah, all these things.
Yeah, picking up the phone and pulling out the antenna.
I remember just buying a 25-foot phone cord so you could bring the phone all over the place in the house. Wasn't that cool? Oh
my gosh.
All this crazy stuff. This is, what people had to do. We actually still have a connector in the cellar, which actually takes the wired phone service and splits it into 2 different rooms, because I installed that. I haven't used it in a long time. But I bought the parts and wired it myself because I can do that. So.
Catching up.
Yep. Just making sure. So
Sarah, give me the sheriff's office. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The brain for my first cellular car phone was larger than an LA County phone book.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever made the thing work, you had to have huge packs. It probably wasn't enough microchips, maybe some discrete components.
Can you hear me now?
And probably a huge battery. This is the kind of thing that they had to have at the time.
Oh, gosh.
So all these interfaces.
I hate to say it, but like the "Can you hear me now"? Didn't you have a call like that yesterday?
I had a call like that the last day of shooting because we had to do with U-Haul.
Yes, because I remember you being on the phone like, "Can you hear me now?"
Couldn't hear me.
Like, really? It's 2022.
And I really tried to make the conversation as simple as possible because I knew it was impossible. But you know what? We got a smaller truck. It cost us less, and that's all we needed. So guess what?
I don't think it cost less. I think it costs the same.
Wow.
I'm not.
Well,
there's a company I'm not happy with right now.
Yeah.
And its name rhymes with U-Mall.
I actually just named them, but you can go with whatever you like. I'm sure you could figure it out.
We had to rent trucks for this set, and I was not pleased.
Very peculiar drop-off locations in both cases, and pretty peculiar pickup locations.
Well, not just that, but
the customer service was terrible.
It was horrible.
And they're charging us these spurious charges. We have to get on the horn with them for hours and get rid of this. What a pain.
Well, what? Oh my gosh. I actually heard this page. Daddy, I lost my teddy bear. Oh.
I used to actually get funny phone messages and then record them off to a cassette tape. And I've got a whole tape that just got all of these weirdo things that people left me.
Errol says, long gone are the telegraph days, .. etc. Oh. Oh my gosh, Karen, that's wow.
Oh, seriously. I remember hearing about
PhD thesis.
The Chinese typewriter. And you think that aren't some of these characters combinations of characters really? So you could have two different
The Green Acres phone. Yes, Alan, where they had to climb up the telephone pole.
The pole.
That was so funny.
Oliver, it's for you. Hilarious.
I remember that.
Absolutely hilarious. Let's see. No, wait, no, move.
Oh, handwritten. Yeah, handwritten. There's something nice about a handwritten letter.
That's nice.
I agree.
I wish my writing was better.
Yeah, me too.
I can write nice blocky text. That's the thing. I'm trying to see where that comment came in that I want to. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I was actually just talking about Telegraph, and it's funny that some people at the ham operator, some of them will still code. They will still get on and just start sending out more and have conversations with people. It's just old habits. I think that's a great skill. It's getting kind of lost. And another great skill that's getting kind of lost, through-hole soldering.
Oh.
Because it's all surface mount parts these days.
Satellite's asking, what was the weirdest thing that happened during your shoot?
Okay, good question. Thanks for re-railing. We are talking about, decompressing after a truly intense week, preceded by a truly intense week. Weird thing. Probably in the immediate, I would say the picking up the rental trucks. Because the first on the inbound lane, we pick up the truck at the gas station. I'm like, okay, great. And, the guy says, okay, it's out there, just find the truck. I go out. There's no way to identify this truck because there's a code that means nothing. It's not on the license plate. And I'm looking around. Finally, she says, oh, they sent a picture. I'm like, where's the license plate? I find it. I'm like, dude. So we pick this thing up, we load the thing up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we get to set, and then we have to return the truck, and you're supposed to return it. We can't return it where we are. We're going to cross the river again and go to this other stupid town.
Oh, yeah, returning the first rental
She
truck.
precedes me, and she gives me a call. You will never find this place. I'm still putting gas in the thing. So she says, do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking for them. Good grief. This was at some kind of no-tell motel.
Yeah. Yeah, the U-Haul drop-off place was in this,
dive.
No-tell motel.
Dive.
Oh.
That was
and then
Highland, New York.
Since I got there before him, because I was driving the car, I didn't want to park. I parked kind of away from where it was because there was this guy, it was toothless guy, sitting outside of his room, and I didn't want to engage, so I just kind of had to stay away. But yeah, that was where you return the truck.
I mean, didn't we just watch Deliverance? Not
it was
2 weeks
very
ago?
Deliverance.
It was really giving you that vibe, and I thought, and you're thinking, and it's like, take pictures of everything. Good thing I did, because we had put gas in it, and then they charged us. So now I have to dispute that and get them to take it the hell off, pain him back. But this place was just like, where the hell? How does this work anyway? And you know what? Get me out of here. So, and then on the return leg of things, it was a slightly more rational place to return it to. But still, you're thinking, where do I park this thing? Is there any U-Haul place that's just a lot of trucks and you just
I know. Well, that might be a New York thing.
Maybe it's just New York
because thing. Like all the pickup and drop-off locations were weird.
Oh, weird. But I know we were doing one-way drives, which kind of throws people for a loop. The second picking up the truck on the return leg, I go to the lot. It's a car wash. I'm looking over. There's two guys like doing some car detailing. One of them says, "Go to the supermarket." Okay. I go to the supermarket. I walk around. I'm like, I don't see any sign. I go to the register. Oh yeah, into the office.
Devin, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a few months for the film, but thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it'll be a few months because we got to buy a new computer and
we have to
editing suite,
raise yet more money to buy some equipment to make this happen. And we might have some color grading in our future as well. I'm hoping to reduce that whole concept, but one does what one needs to. And of course, there's some audio recording happening because we have all things.
The No-Tell Motel was hilarious once I figured out.
Yeah.
Where, because it says you have arrived. I'm like,
where? Which planet?
I don't see a U-Haul
have
sign.
I arrived at?
Yeah, you have arrived.
There you go.
All right,
craziness.
So.
And it's just like, and I'll tell you, it wasn't a terrible experience as much as a head scratcher.
It was just, it was just crazy. It was just, but the funny thing is, in the back of the No-Tell Motel where you leave the U-Haul truck, there was this inflatable pool. Paul's like, look, the hotel has a pool.
Hotel has a pool. Great gags. I got to tell you.
Funny. It was funny.
Because simply once we got onto set and started doing the build out with our scenic, it was just like, bang, get this stuff in place. And this really, you got to see this thing.
I don't think anything
I kind of miss this
weird
place.
Happened. I mean, it was.
No, it was really, it was pretty smooth.
We got so lucky. We really did get so lucky. Well, we had a great cast. We had a great crew.
Great crew. You hired good people.
Yeah.
End of the day. And we had a couple of PAs where it was basically their first time on a film set doing this stuff. And they were both really eager to get on and do.
Hi, Shane.
And we got them both on set doing clap slate and everything. And they learned. They really learned stuff. So I was glad to, I showed them a few things and our DP showed them a lot of things. And they figured it out. They saw how it was done. It's a lot of waiting around and a lot of frenzied action. I haven't really done that in that way in a long time.
It's beautiful here, Shane.
Hey,
sunny.
Looking great.
Can't complain.
Great. We do our projects. It looks a hell of a lot like that on a much smaller scale. And it's just the two of us. And I am hanging a microphone or I'm holding a microphone or wiring her up with one. And we have to do framing and lighting and all that. And it's a whole process. And it's our own little soundstage. It's a little different. When you get on another soundstage with the whole crew, and then you realize that you can't actually have a stable microphone. You got to move around. Then you're getting a ladder and doing all this business. Right?
Yeah.
And, photographer there is like, on a tripod and then he's switching and he's on a handheld unit, moving that around. That was really amazing to see.
Yeah.
A lot of different setups going on.
Elizabeth says, I guess pairing a no-tell motel and its questionable acts with a way to haul away evidence isn't too far. Maybe this is a more solid business plan than we thought.
Here we go. What am I saying anyway? Are you saying this is a good place to hide a body?
Oh, it's been hot in southern Pennsylvania. Okay, so the first day, Monday, when we were loading up the truck, it was so stupid humid. I was just sweating buckets.
Sweating bullets.
And then like the rest of the week was great until yesterday when we had to unload the truck and it was stupid humid again. Yeah, it's like it was just waiting for us to have to do physical labor.
Yeah, serious physical labor. This is like put on a t-shirt. Don't bother to shower at the beginning of the day because it's going to be all lost.
Oh yeah, the boom mic. That's a lot of work. Boom mic. I'm glad that's not my job.
It does. And really the big challenge is when you've got handheld camera and handheld mic and he's going wide, you really have to be like riding that frame line. You don't know where it is.
Yeah.
It's really tough. We had a few monitors out that were if I actually had an eye line on it, I could do it. back in the day, you didn't have any of that. So you really had to estimate and then be like, boom, caught the boom. And, you were the guy with egg on your face all the time. Sound department usually got short shrift all the time. Done it. What a pain in the neck. But, boom is an art. We saw some very good people doing it last year when we did some background.
Oh, yeah.
They were really skilled, and it looked very different. It's all wireless now. I was working a wired unit, but my recorder was attached, so it was just right there. But although it's all wireless going to a sound mixer, and these guys actually, I think, had an app where they were able to see the playback on their phones. So you attach the phone to the boom, and you're just watching it, and then you can see a frame line. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, there's some positive technology right there. We've been talking about old tech. Some of it's not so positive. Some of it was kind of fun. This is new tech, and some of it's not so fun, but this is actually quite useful.
Production is a lot of work. Last night was the first good night's sleep I've had in weeks.
Weeks. Potentially months. I was having terrible sleep all week. I usually wake up in the middle of the night, but I'm like, I need to get up at 5.
We had to be there so early, and then of course
I better not be awake at 2.
I'm so afraid I'll oversleep that I wake up before the alarm, and it's just
One of our actors was saying the same thing, that she was just like, I was so paranoid about oversleeping that I just got terrible night. And then she hits set, and then she actually it's time for her to hit it, and she'd been waiting around for a long time. She goes there, and she's just nailing it.
Oh yeah,
the pros. They're all very pro.
Great. Oh,
great
thank you, Shane.
Yeah. I honestly, yes. I thought that
editing next. It's gonna be crazy.
But we also
but
we got a lot of comments on our set that craft service, that's food, was great. I'm like, well, I'm glad we wanted to feed you.
Well, yeah.
We certainly caffeinated you. I finally got the sign up that said, "Here's where the sodas are," and people started using them, and that it was a really well run set. That it was just very friendly, and I like to keep it light.
I try.
I think that
do my best.
The lighthearted while being serious about what you're doing, because we're all pros. But it doesn't need to be tense, And if the shot is really kind of cockeyed.
Oh, zines! Oh, Karen, I'd love to hear about it. Your part in zines. Oh, Shane, thank you. Yeah, we're having a few drinks.
You don't say.
Yeah. I could have another mimosa.
Well, because during production, we couldn't have a drink during the week. So this is the first we've had since, like a week ago.
Good one. Good one, Paul.
Likewise. Anyway, do you need to do something with this?
Yeah. Okay. Dump out the water.
Okay. You sure there's nothing left in there?
Yeah. That's water.
Okay. We can take care of that. Well, is it about that time?
I guess it is. Yeah. I guess it's about time to hit it.
Down to the dregs. It's about that time, folks. It's been an excellent couple hours with you on a Saturday at brunch time.
Joining us
with some fantastic cash pit cereal. It's the same as the name brand, but for less cash.
Devin loves a zine too. Karen, you gotta let us know.
Yep. Hey, it's fun. Old tech.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Karen says I had art and a Captain America one. Oh, sweet.
Awesome. Big fun. I remember back when you would get these handouts at conventions, and it was like either a Mimeo or Ditto, a dittoed handout with pictures and stuff. It's like, wow.
Oh, we got to go rehearse music now.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we do. Because our next hat trick is going to be a live performance at Milltown, and we'd better be ready. So it's time for it. We got to get our stuff together. I need to finish what I'm doing with film stuff and start doing something with the keyboard.
But we'll be back on Wednesday.
Back then. Yeah.
So hope to see you then.
Yeah. And it's been great visiting with you. Obviously, this is the one time I'm saying this during the thing on Facebook. We have a tip jar down there if you've appreciated this broadcast. And I don't think we have one up on YouTube, so you can't. But there's still there's still PayPal, and there's still the
have a great rest of the weekend.
The Patreon page, right?
Yep.
And you all take care of yourselves. We'll certainly be broadcasting before long. We're going to be my fingers will my carpals will be tunneling because it's doing a lot of this business.
Carpals.
And we got a lot of things to look into. Anything we've raised tonight where you have questions, just drop them on us. If I have questions for you about things like film festivals, I'll be talking.
Yes.
We know where to find you. You know where to find us. And as always, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, we'll see you soon.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
And